Most brands chase the market. The ones that grow start with the human. Most brands watch what competitors launch, react to trends, add more SKUs, call it innovation. But real growth starts somewhere very different. It starts with the human. Hi, I'm Terri Lee, principal and founder of THL Growth Lab. Over the past 20 years, including my time as Global Director of Innovation and Insights, I've led innovation strategy across consumer goods, health and wellness, and pet categories, helping scale revenue from $53 million to $180 million, securing utility patents, and driving D2C conversion rates of 18 to 28%. Today, I want to share how shifting from market-led thinking to human factors and design-led thinking can transform commercial growth strategy. Because innovation is not about launching more products. It's about identifying the right opportunities, building the right solutions, and launching them into an audience that is already hungry for what the brand can uniquely deliver. Close the gap between innovation and marketing. There's a real disconnect right now between innovation strategy and marketing execution. Traditionally, innovation has often been triggered by what the market appears to be asking for. What competitors are launching, what retailers are requesting, what trend reports suggest is gaining momentum. That model is no longer enough. We need to flip it. Innovation should start with what consumers actually need, where they are struggling, what trade-offs they're making, what they're trying to accomplish, and where the current experience is falling short. When innovation starts with the human, marketing has something meaningful to communicate. The product has a reason to exist. The brand has a clearer story to tell. And the team stop working in silos. That is the power of a human-centered, design-led innovation framework. It connects consumer insight, product strategy, brand positioning, and commercial growth around one central question. What unmet human need are we uniquely positioned to solve? Work backwards from the design approach. When you take a design-led approach and work backwards from the consumer, everything changes. Marketing teams are no longer handed a product after the fact and asked to make it sell. They become part of the insight, positioning, and value creation process from day one. That is where symbiosis happens. Product, brand, and commercial teams align around the same human insight. That alignment leads to faster launches, stronger positioning, and products that do not need to be rescued by promotion. Instead of filling the pipeline with more ideas, the business can focus on fewer, higher impact innovations with stronger strategic intent. The goal is not to fill the shelf. The goal is to create solutions that connect deeply enough to drive adoption, repeat purchase, and advocacy. Understand the early adopter. The strongest innovation strategies are not built around chasing every trend. They're built around understanding the early adopter. Early adopters are not just the first people willing to try something new. They're often the clearest signal of where the market is moving. They're more willing to articulate pain points, more open to testing new solutions, more likely to advocate for products that solve a problem in a meaningful way. When a brand understands what early adopters prioritize, it can make smarter decisions about where to play, what to build, and how to grow. That means looking beyond the first launch. It means asking, what brings this consumer into the brand? What keeps them engaged? What adjacent needs can we solve next? What products create recurring value? Where can we diversify the portfolio without losing the brand's core expertise? That is where long-term portfolio strategy becomes critical. A strong growth pipeline should include core early entry opportunities that bring the consumer into the brand, while also identifying recurring purchase products that keep the relationship alive. The strongest portfolios do both. They leverage the brand's core expertise while expanding into adjacent needs that feel natural, relevant, and valuable to the consumer. That is how early adopters become loyalists and eventually brand ambassadors. Own the white space. In the design world, real innovation comes from understanding the consumer, the need, and the white space no one else is serving. I saw this firsthand while developing a high-performance water filter. We noticed consumers were moving away from tap water because they were concerned about contaminants. At the same time, many were gravitating towards bottled alkaline water because they associated it with health-forward hydration. So we built a filter designed for 99% contaminant removal, including lead, copper, microplastics, bacteria, and viruses, while also optimizing alkalinity. The goal was simple: tap water that delivers better taste, greater confidence, and added health-forward benefits. But we did not stop there. Because health and environmental impact are primary consumer concerns, we developed the filter housing with worry-free plastics, an innovative enzyme designed to consume plastic leaving organic soil under landfill conditions once oxygen is depleted, as is often the case when waste is buried and compacted. The intent was to reduce long-term plastic waste and avoid adding more microplastics to the environment. That is what owning the white space looks like. You're not just creating another product. You're building a deeper relationship with your consumer. You help them redefine what they should expect. You give them the language to articulate the problem. And you create a solution that feels both practical and personal. That is how categories get reshaped. And that is where commercial growth compounds. Build the long game. Design-led innovation is not about moving faster for the sake of speed. It's about moving with clarity. When consumer insight, product design, and portfolio strategy work together, innovation becomes more focused, more efficient, and more commercially meaningful. The business can prioritize high-growth opportunities, reduce wasted development cycles, launch fewer products with greater impact, diversify the portfolio with stronger intent, and build a pipeline designed for long-term return. A consumer may enter through a hero product, but they stay because the brand continues to solve related needs in a way that feels trusted, thoughtful, and relevant. That is the long game. The future of innovation will not belong to brands that launch the most. It will belong to brands that understand their consumer deeply enough to launch what matters. The shift. If you want sustainable growth, stop asking what the market wants. Start asking what the human needs. Lead with design thinking. Align your teams around the consumer. Own the white space. Build for the early adopter. And create a portfolio that turns insight into long-term growth. What white space is your team ignoring because the market is not yet asking for it?